border returns violently restores control.
This isn't policy, it's warfare.
American Law, Zero Tolerance, in theaters now.
An 8-year-old girl is dead. Her name was Mora Geraghty. She was crossing the street in Boise, Idaho, when an illegal immigrant driving a pickup truck ran her down. He should have never been in this country. He should never have been behind that wheel. And now a family is shattered because the system failed. But that's just the beginning, unfortunately. What we're uncovering in this report, from secret sanctuary networks to deadly crashes to hidden shelters protecting lawbreakers, will show you exactly just how deep the crisis goes and why Democrats are finally running scared. Now, here's what's at stake. Every day, the border remains a revolving door. Americans die. Of course, this is all under the Biden administration, President Trump locking it down. But there are still millions of illegals still here in this country. Mora was only 8 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her. And now she's gone because Elvin Caballero, a man in this country illegally, was allowed to drive and work and exist in a system that protected him instead of her. But the rot goes deeper than just that tragedy. In Charlotte, North Carolina, an after-school program suspended its operations the moment that federal agents arrived in the area. That's not sanctuary, that's obstruction. It's an underground railroad for lawbreakers embedded inside American institutions. And in California, Governor Gavin Newsom just canceled 17,000 commercial driver's licenses that were issued to illegal immigrants, but only after a string of deadly crashes forced his hand. How many people died before he acted? Now, before we move forward, I do want to speak directly to you, the people who watch this show and keep us going every single day. This time of year especially, we reflect on how grateful we are for this community. None of this is possible without you. Your encouragement, your comments, your prayers, and your support. The border crisis won't cover itself. The mainstream media won't tell these stories, but we will, because independent media matters now more than ever. If you'd like to help us keep fighting and keep producing and keep telling the truth, we deeply appreciate your support by giving with your heart at the link in the description. nnn.is/give. And if you can't donate, you can still help in a huge way. Share this video with someone who needs to hear the truth today, because we are thankful for you. But here's where the tide is turning. Operation Charlotte's Web, we've been talking about, delivered nearly 400 arrests in its first week alone. Federal commanders warned that there are a lot of bad people and bad things in Charlotte, and they're only getting started. In Tennessee, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced staggering results from the Memphis Safe Task Force. 3,100 arrests, 500 illegal weapons seized, and 121 missing children recovered. Governor Bill Lee confirmed murder rates have been cut in half. And the White House is making it clear. Airstrikes against narco-terrorists tied to the Maduro regime will continue. This is what happens when the government actually enforces the law. Here we have this. Just in. Trump's DHS blasting Oregon Democrats for giving illegal immigrants driver's licenses after one hit and killed an 8-year-old before fleeing the scene.
This story is developing tonight. A tragedy in Idaho putting an Oregon law in the spotlight. Boise police are investigating a deadly crash that left an 8-year-old girl dead earlier this month. The alleged driver involved an undocumented immigrant from Honduras with an Oregon driver's license.
DHS says he was ordered removed from the U.S. in 2016 after missing an immigration hearing. K2's Thambi Verma joins us outside the DMV in downtown. Thambi, what do non-citizens have to show to get a driver's license?
So, Deb, think about it like it's the same for everybody. You don't have to prove you're a citizen. All you need to do is prove that you live here and, of course, that you pass all the tests. It's a law that countless Oregonians had protested for, the right for non-citizens to be able to obtain a driver's license. The Equal Access to Roads Act passed in 2019 and went into effect in 2021.
I don't want to target people, but come legally. That's all that needs to happen.
Margot Logan testified against it.
The problem that I have is not so much with non-citizens, it's with the government and how the government performs or doesn't perform. And so I don't want this to be an attack on anybody, but we need to have laws. We need to have things be legal.
P. Coons, Oregon's farm workers union, testified in support of the law, saying in part, many farm worker families must often go above and beyond to plan their lives around transportation availability. Many of our workers spend at least $40 a week carpooling, taking away from an already low wage. They added, the lack of access to legally drive adds an unnecessary stress and barriers for families that are already trying their very best to survive. P. Coon was not available for an interview today. Representative Susan McLean, who was a co-chief sponsor of the bill, weighed in, saying in part, regardless of citizenship status, families in Oregon must be able to take their kids to school, visit their doctor, and go to work. All street users are safer when drivers are licensed and insured. We asked
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Tom Homan, this just in, going nuclear on Democrats launching the Master ICE Agent Tracker.
And everybody, I'm okay. No, so the bottom line is, if you support illegal immigration, then you support the criminal cartels of Mexico. Because no one crosses the border illegally without paying a plaza fee to the criminal cartels. And I'm going to remind everybody, and I'm going to keep reminding these Democrats, where were you the last 4 years? Well, we had over 10 million people come to our border. We had 250,000 Americans die from fentanyl coming across the open border. We had a record number of people from terrorist-sponsored countries coming across the border. Sex trafficking women and children were at a historic high. You let 500,000 children be smuggled in the United States. You lost track of 300,000. You weren't even looking for them. It's the Trump administration and President Trump's leadership where we've already found over 30,000 of them. We're not going to let them forget. You are complicit in the biggest national security failure, the biggest humanitarian failure in the history of this nation. So you can scream and yell and do all these apps you want, but we're not going to let you forget. You are complicit. You support illegal immigration, then you support criminal cartels in Mexico. And when they smuggle people, they smuggle guns, they smuggle dope. So that's who you're supporting. Illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. And if they don't know that, they're just simply ignorant.
Yeah. How do you think that Mora's family is feeling tonight? Oregon gave driver's license to illegal alien accused of killing 8-year-old Mora. U.S. District Judge Casey Pitts, a Biden nominee, has freed Brendan Monroe Thompson, a man pretending to be a woman who attempted to drive a U-Haul truck through a federal ICE agent blockade in Alameda, California. Remember this? Yep. That person is now walking the streets. Over in New Orleans, the police superintendent says, being in the country illegally is a civil issue, and we will not enforce civil law. However, crossing the border illegally is a crime under 8 U.S.C. 1325. It is not a civil issue. Democrats don't know the law. Yeah, looks like another diversity hire here.
Agency. Our confirmation from the judge that we are formally out of the consent decree, but along the way I have preferred to use the term that we've graduated. We have taken back our own ownership of our agency. To be in the country undocumented is civil issue. We will not enforce civil law, and so our support is to make sure they're not going to get hurt and our community is not in danger.
Yeah, just don't cross the street in Oregon if you're 8 years old. 10 hours ago, FBI Director Kash Patel reports the FBI arrested a violent protester out of Portland who allegedly threatened to murder officers and assault their families under Trump's order to counter domestic terrorism, organized political violence. We're working aggressively with all partners across the country to take these offenders off the streets. Portland protesters are accused of threatening to kill officers and assault their wives at an ICE facility. Here is more on that 8-year-old girl. A vigil.
Sorry, I'm just going through the light of change.
8 years old, man. Didn't have to happen. It didn't have to happen. But Joe Biden's policies are helping it, making it happen. President Trump, a few hours ago in the Rose Garden.
Our border had 0 people coming in for the last 7 months, right? 0. I mean, even I find that hard to believe. They had millions and millions of people pour into our border from prisons, from mental institutions, gang members, drug dealers. They poured in to our country like we were stupid people. We're not stupid people anymore. But nobody's ever seen anything. The job that they've done on the Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, the whole group, the job they've done on the border is almost like a miracle. We have, and the people that make these statistics that said 0, they've said 0 for the last 7 months. I can't, it has to be like a few people got in, but they say 0. And they're radical left Democrats to do the scoring. So I can't imagine they did that for us. The truth is, we have no people coming into our country illegally. It's an amazing statistic, and I'm very proud of it. Our border had 0.
President Trump cleaning up the mess. Here's the press secretary 24 hours ago on the H-1B visas.
American workers.
Is it MAGA to support American workers being replaced with H-1B visa holders? Are Americans not capable of filling most of these positions?
Who supports getting American workers getting replaced?
I know the president mentioned that he wanted to bring in some workers that he could eventually send back in regards to...
The president does not support American workers being replaced. You are mischaracterizing what the president said. The president wants to see our American manufacturing industry be revitalized better than ever before. That's part of what he's doing with his effective use of tariffs and cutting good trade deals around the world. That's why he's recruited trillions and trillions of dollars in investments into our country. Those are creating good paying American jobs right here at home. As for the H-1B visa issue, the president has a very nuanced and common sense opinion on this issue. He wants to see if foreign companies are investing trillions of dollars in the United States of America and they're bringing foreign workers with them to create very niche things like batteries. He wants to see that at the beginning to get those manufacturing facilities and those factories up and running. But ultimately, the president always wants to see American workers in those jobs. And he's told these foreign companies that are investing here, you better be hiring my people if you're going to be doing business in the United States. So there's been a lot of misunderstanding of the president's position.
Keep going. Here's the Pam Bondi. Talk about 3,100 arrests. Good Lord.
Of the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi sharing the podium with 2 other members of the administration, along with Tennessee's governor and 2 state senators, praising the efforts of the Memphis Safe Streets Task Force just days before Thanksgiving.
You're not with your families. Many of you are not going to be with your families on Thanksgiving, and we are so grateful for your service and your sacrifice.
The event also marked the announcement of an effort to reduce crime in public housing called the HUD Crime Hotline, offered through the HUD Office of the Inspector General.
To report criminals, illegal aliens, sex offenders, human traffickers, and those guilty of gang activity, drug distribution, and fraud.
Dignitaries making note of more than 3,000 arrests, 500 illegal weapons seized, and 121 reported missing children located in the past 56 days.
Murder rates cut in half, and crime rates in Memphis at their lowest level in 20 years.
While Governor Lee did not address last week's order by a Nashville Chancery Court judge to block the use of the National Guard in Memphis, an order put on hold for 5 days allowing the state to appeal, Attorney General Bondi appeared to take exception to the judge's action.
Unfortunately, the safety of our community has been compromised by some judges who continue to obstruct our efforts. I wish they are all watching this, and I hope they're seeing what we're doing here in Memphis. We will not coddle violent criminals at the expense of law-abiding citizens.
Phew. It's always some radical activist judge stepping in. Hear this. Charlotte, North Carolina, after-school program suspends operations after it was exposed for shielding illegal aliens from federal agents. When agents approached the building, staff rushed to lock it down.
Had reports that ISIS. We need more assistance down those. Okay. At those entrances. Hi, Donald. This is Lily from OurBridge. I'm just calling because we had reports that ICE is probably on campus. We were wanting to see if we could make rounds.
Inside, please. This after-school program in East Charlotte has been a safe space for immigrant children.
Yes, in the front entrance.
But today, there are reports that Customs and Border Patrol agents are approaching.
And I'd like people down at this entrance as well to just watch that door.
Staff rush to lock down the building.
They do not have the right to be on this. This is private property.
They say this is the second day in a row that immigration enforcement has showed up.
We're walking up right now to a TBP sighting here.
In a statement to the Times, the Department of Homeland Security stated it did not target a school or daycare and denied trying to enter or make any arrests near the building. Across Charlotte, more than 370 people have been arrested so far, sending large parts of the immigrant community here into hiding.
A lot of families, even regardless of legal status, they're...
Oh my goodness, give me a break. You're going to lock down the whole place? And then we have this from Gavin Newsom, canceling 17,000 illegal immigrant commercial driver's licenses after a series of deadly accidents.
Idaho chairman of... Did you hear the news? Gavin Newsom just caved in a big way to President Donald Trump on the issue of illegal immigration. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state representative. And this week, Newsom quietly canceled 17,000 commercial driver's licenses that his state inappropriately issued to illegal immigrants. You might have heard some of the tragedies that have occurred because illegal immigrants who are not properly licensed got into accidents and killed people across the country. The Trump administration threatened California that if they didn't clean up their mess, that they would revoke all commercial driver's licenses in the state. Well, guess what? Newsom conceded. And this comes at a time when Newsom is trying to be the alpha male against Trump, criticizing Democrats for reopening the government during the government shutdown. He's trying to pretend like he's a fighter when, in fact, even Newsom this week caved in to Donald Trump. Good news. Did you hear the news? Gavin Newsom just caved in a big way to President.
But here's the bottom line. While illegal immigrants killed children in Idaho, while staff in Charlotte shut down operations to avoid federal agents, while blue states hand out licenses to unvetted drivers who cause deadly crashes, Trump's America is arresting them, deporting them, seizing their weapons, recovering missing children, and smashing cartel networks. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Every time Democrats shield illegal immigration, Americans die. Every time Trump acts, Americans live. This is no longer a debate. It's a national reckoning. The story matters because it proves what we've been saying for years. The border crisis isn't just at the border anymore. It's in Boise, where an 8-year-old girl was killed by an illegal alien. It's in Charlotte, where an after-school program shut down operations when federal agents arrived. It's in California, where 17,000 illegal immigrants had commercial driver's licenses until deadly crashes forced Newsom to act. It's in Memphis, where Trump's task force recovered 121 missing children in a matter of weeks. The system that let this happen didn't fail by accident. It was designed this way by politicians who valued illegal immigrants over American citizens. But now the tide is turning and the arrests are climbing. The networks are being exposed and the American people are watching. So here's my question for the comments. Let's talk about this. Should sanctuary cities lose all federal funding? Yes or no? Drop your answer below. Grab some merch at our merch shop on your way out.